Welcome to What to Do When, a podcast from real lawyers with real perspective, where we explore a variety of legal issues and scenarios. Each week, we focus on a new topic and discuss what to do when and if any of these legal scenarios ever happen to you or a loved one. With over 40 years of combined legal experience, our hosts offer their unique perspectives and insights on a range of real-life legal situations.
Hi there, welcome back to another podcast here at Critzer Cardani in Richmond, Virginia. I'm Jackie.
And I'm Scott. Jackie, what's on the docket for today?
What to do when you have a spouse in the house.
Wow, that's kind of rhymes there. Here's what we're talking about, folks. Say you've got to the point where this marriage isn't working.
Ready to separate.
Ready to separate, but I'm not leaving.
And I'm not leaving. So how do I get the spouse out of the house is the question. We get it a lot. I get it. I'm sure you do too.
Absolutely.
I'm ready to separate. He won't leave or she won't leave, but how do we make this happen? And the short answer is you can't force a spouse out. And the court won't help you force them out.
It's really interesting because years ago you could file a pendente light and sometimes they'd get possession of the house to one or the other, but they don't do that at all anymore. They stopped doing that a long time ago.
Well, they went to a judge's school and really they were told you cannot separate the parties if they haven't separated on their own already.
Yep.
Okay. Now, if you say, okay, can I leave temporarily and then ask for possession of the house? Yes, you can. You can do those things. Are you likely to succeed? It depends on the circumstances. Can you afford to move back into the house? So I'm going to tell you, it depends on how much money you make and whether you can afford to move back in and whether that person can afford to leave or can they afford to stay in the house. So most of the time the court's going to look at whether if one spouse moves into a short-term lease long enough to get, you might find a 90-day lease, but long enough to get the separation necessary to get your case filed, and the person you left in the home is the non-earning spouse. Maybe they're a homemaker, stay-at-home mom, stay-at-home dad. Bluey fans, it's the stay-at-home dad, right? Or maybe he works, but not much. I don't know. What you have to figure out is how is that mortgage going to get paid? And are you putting yourself in a situation as the higher earner and leaving to be forced to pay spousal support or be forced to cover the mortgage for the person who stayed in the house? There's a lot of moving parts to that, and you really need someone who is well suited to cover a nuanced situation like that.
Yeah, and it's really hard even as attorneys to give you good advice, but we're here to do that, and we'll take your specific, and one of the things we really try to do is take your specific situation and apply the facts and give you a specific solution for your specific situation, because everybody's a little different. But there's all this misnomer, we've talked about it before, about abandonment and how that plays out in today's courts. Very rarely does that play out to hurt anybody, because somebody's got to leave. Somebody's got to start the separation process, which is unfortunate. And like we've talked about too before, is divorce is expensive, because all of a sudden the money you had for paying for one house is now paying for two houses. No matter how you look at it, even if you're both incomed and you both have good jobs, it's still now you're splitting that pot. You're paying for the house, I'm paying for a house, and all of a sudden
pot of money.
Yes, pot of money. Will knows weed, not me. So anyways, you have that spot and you have all this money and you're like, whoa, we had all this money. We were living comfortably. Now we can't make our ends meet. We can't buy groceries because we're paying,
2 electric bills.
And right now, rent, we have this problem all the time. People can't find a place to live under $1,500, $1,800, $2,000. Even a one bedroom is outrageous right now. And so you're really stuck in a situation, and we understand that. But
well, what about this, Scott? Can you reach an agreement about who leaves and who stays and who pays and who doesn't?
That's really the only option you have, is to try to figure out a way to reach an agreement, or you leave. You cannot force that person to leave. You can try all you want. You can manipulate. You can do all these things. But in the end, unless they pack their bags and walk out the door, you can't call the police. It happens all the time. We have people who call the police and say, he's got to get out of here. Or we start the whole thing, which a lot of people like to do, is start to manipulate facts and say, oh, Jackie hit me, something, you need to stop talking. Oh,
right. Now that's become an assaultive behavior.
Something they've done their whole marriage.
Right.
Is all of a sudden, And don't think it doesn't happen. It happens.
Well, and be wary of that, right? So
Yeah.
this is one of those caveats. Be wary of a situation where your spouse, who now you're ready to separate from, and sounds like they're ready to separate from you, and you guys are at odds about who's going to leave. They're searching the internet. They're looking for these darker answers that say, oh, well, if you go and do this, if you try to contrive a situation where you might get possession of the house through the issuance of a protector, just be wise about how you're proceeding there. Someone you thought would never do something like that, maybe feeling desperate or maybe getting advice, and somebody might be in their ear giving them advice that just might end up hurting them in the end, but may win them possession of the house at the beginning.
And sometimes a temporary victory is a horrible defeat as you go through, because you might have done something you thought was really sly and clever and got him out of the house, and that might when the trial comes out and all the evidence comes back, the judge may look at you and go, wow, you were vindictive, wow, you were sleazy in what you did to a person. So as Jackie said, we're here at Critzer Cardani. We've handled many of these situations. There's not an easy answer. If you think you can just all of a sudden pull a string and he has to move out, you're wrong, and that's not going to work for you. But please set up a meeting with us, talk to us. We'll try to come up with a plan that works. It's probably going to be more of a negotiation and trying to work through that. But we're here. We have the experience to help you, and we're here to help.
I'm looking forward to hearing from you soon. Like and subscribe. See you next time.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of What to Do When. For more episodes, be sure to subscribe to our podcast, and we encourage you to check our archives to listen to previous topics. Tune in next week for a new episode and some fresh perspective from Critzer Cardani.